If it's your first time planning a fishing trip, you might be asking yourself, where do I begin? Luckily, we've put together a quick guide of the most important things you need to know before you go fishing on a charter boat. If you'd like to see more videos with helpful tips like this, be sure to like and subscribe below. As the old saying goes, it's called fishing, not catching. In other words, fishing can be quite unpredictable. Here are a few ways to make sure you set the right expectations before you head out. The time you spend on the water can make a huge difference. However, keep in mind that more time on the water doesn't necessarily mean you'll catch more fish. It all depends on the time of year, the fish you're targeting, and the weather on that day. So how do you know what to expect before you book your trip? Pay close attention to the trip description. This will tell you about the details like whether it's inshore versus offshore and which species you might target depending on the season. Better yet, contact the captain to find out what's biting right now. You can also take a look at their most recent fishing reports and customer reviews. You can see what trips other people took lately and how it went for them. One of the most important things you need to know is whether you need to buy a fishing license. Laws vary by state. In some places, your license will be covered by the charter boat. In others, you might have to buy one on your own. These rules can also change depending on whether you plan to fish in freshwater or saltwater. Just remember that you'll need a license for the state that you're fishing in, not necessarily where you're from. Look at the listing or contact the captain to see if a license is included in your trip. We've made it easy for you with our state-by-state guides to buying a fishing license, which you can access by clicking on the link in the description. The next thing to take a look at is whether you need to buy your own bait and tackle. Check out the charter listing under the section Trip Includes to find out what equipment is provided. This is where you can see if rods, reels, and other gear are included in the price of the trip. Bait and lures come in many forms. A captain might provide artificial lures such as soft plastics, or they might use live bait such as shrimp or mullet. Some captains prepare the bait in advance, while others will have you catch it on board. If prepared before the trip, an extra fee may apply, so be sure to check with the captain ahead of time. Fishing is weather dependent, and no matter the forecast, you won't really know what conditions are like until the morning of your trip. This is when you're likely to get an update from your captain. It's also the best time to reach out if you're not sure what to expect. Keep in mind that safety is a top priority, so the captain may ask to reschedule or even cancel if it's too risky. If you have any serious concerns about the weather, talk to your captain before you head out. This is especially important if you plan on bringing a small kid or an elderly person along with you. And remember that even in good weather, seas can feel rough for some people, so think about bringing your preferred seasickness medication. When you book a trip through FishingBooker, you pay a part of the price ahead of time in the form of a deposit. You can then pay the remaining balance directly to the captain in a number of ways, depending on what payment methods they've selected. If a captain accepts online payments, you have the option to pay the full price of your trip online ahead of time. Otherwise, you'll pay the remaining balance later, most commonly in cash or with a card. You can see which payment methods are available on their listing under Payment. Note that there may be a small processing fee if you choose to pay by credit card. All of this information is visible on the listing and in your confirmation email. It's important to know that, in most cases, the crew make their living off of tips, which is not included in the overall cost of your trip. That's why it's customary to leave a cash tip, usually 15 to 20% of the total trip price. The best way to come prepared is by contacting your captain or charter operator ahead of time so they know exactly what you want. Are you after a trophy fish or dinner? How much experience do you have? Communicate this ahead of time and they'll make sure your trip is the right experience for you. Have in mind that many captains spend their days on the water fishing with customers just like you, so they'll get back to you when they can. It's common for captains to reach out a day or two before your trip with an update on conditions and questions to help them prepare for you. This is also the time to ask any remaining questions you have so you know what to expect and can look forward to your day on the water. And that's everything you need to know before your first charter fishing trip. Make the most of your experience by preparing ahead of time, check out the listing and trip descriptions, read the most recent reviews and fishing reports, contact your captain with any questions, and remember to always leave a tip for the crew. For more information on how to prepare for charter fishing or what to pack, be sure to check out our full blog articles by clicking on the links in the description. And when you're ready, head over to fishingbooker.com, take a look at some of our charters, and start planning your trip today.